Well, if you were up early every morning with us, it is possible you're a big fan of caffeine. And if you struggle to get up in the morning, you might be thinking about drinking more coffee or energy drinks. Well, today we're welcoming Dr. Kevin Stevens to discuss myths about caffeine's health benefits and harmful effects. Caffeine is really popular for folks to use. Do you find most of us just don't know a lot about it?
That's correct. I mean, about 80% of people drink some type of caffeine every day. Yeah, that's
Do
a
you?
lot. No.
None?
No.
Okay, just natural. I forget you're superhuman. All right. Well, for the rest of us regular folks, I think one of the first myths we need to tackle is that caffeine is addictive, because I thought this was true.
It's not really addictive. I mean, it doesn't. You know, you can get a craving for it, but there's a difference between a craving and like an addiction. An addiction is like, man, I got to have it. I would do anything to get it. But craving is, I like it, I want it, I may need it, but if I don't have it, I'm okay.
Okay. And then a lot of people try to stay away from caffeine later in the day because it can cause sleep troubles, I thought, but myth number 2 is about caffeine and insomnia. Yeah,
particularly if you drink your coffee and caffeine early in the morning, the half-life is about 6 hours.
Okay.
And 75% is out your blood around 8 to 9 hours. So if you start 8, 9, 7, or you do 6 or 5 in the morning, by the time you get to sleep, it's no problem.
Then you'll be just fine. All right, and then there's some reports that caffeine has increased risk of other issues like heart disease or cancer. Is that true?
Well, you know, the whole thing with caffeine as anything is levels, right? If you overdo it, anything that you do too much is bad.
Okay.
So you have to look at how much you drink of caffeine. Obviously, if you're drinking like 700 milligrams of caffeine a day, which is an awful lot, then it does decrease your calcium absorption and can have osteoporosis. But the interesting thing is, most drinks have about 100 to 200 milligrams of caffeine, like coffee, tea, and like Coca-Cola, it's like maybe 40 milligrams of caffeine. So you're nowhere near 700 that you would have problems with like osteoporosis. And if you have heart disease, you should always make sure you check your blood pressure and those kind of things, but a little caffeine a day, it probably has very little impact on your heart disease. As compared to cholesterol, you need to check your cholesterol.
Okay, well then that's good to know. These are, for the most part, pretty positive.
Yes, they are.
What about caffeine in pregnant women?
Well, we recommend that most pregnant women don't drink excessive caffeine, but it has not been shown to increase miscarriages, increase pregnancy loss, adverse pregnancy outcomes. So it's not, there's no literature to support banning caffeine in pregnancy. No, not at all.
All right, what about if you drink a lot of caffeinated drinks? Can it lead you to be dehydrated?
Again, the good news is that most of the time when you drink caffeine drinks, it has fluid and other things in it.
Okay.
So because you're drinking water, tea, a Coke or something like that, then you have fluid in it, so you're less likely to become dehydrated. But the key thing is level. Don't overdo it. I mean, if you're drinking all these energy drinks and that kind of stuff, 2 or 3 a day, that's a lot of caffeine, because they can have like 400 milligrams. And you want to be careful.
That surprised me about the research you sent over was that children are consuming more caffeine than adults?
Yes, children are really, you know, in their diet, because a lot of sodas and energy drinks and those kind of things are really loaded with caffeine. So you have to really be careful. Read the label so you know what your child is drinking.
Is caffeine harmful to children?
We don't recommend high dosages. In low dose, it may be okay, but the problem is you get anxious, anxiety, and those kind of things. It can be a stimulant. So if a child is having some ADHD, attention deficit disorder or something, you may want to watch the caffeine that they drink.
All right. If you've had a long night of drinking, some folks say you need a little caffeine. Can caffeine help you?
But you know, actually, that is probably more problematic than the caffeine itself. Because you think, you know, I've been drinking and let me drink a coffee and I can do it.
And get it back together. That's not gonna help.
If you're drinking, you're drunk, you're drunk. Caffeine is not gonna help.
That might be the only quote we need on this show today. If you're drunk, you're drunk. Got it. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, no.
That's not gonna save us.
No. In fact, you may be at more risk because you're thinking that I can do it and I'm at better risk because I have caffeine now, so I can go out and drive me like crazy. Okay. But no, don't. Please don't.
And then for our final myth, caffeine has no health benefits. So this is not true.
That is not true.
Huh. So what are the health benefits of caffeine?
Well, you know, one of the things we notice, people who drink coffee, for instance, they have less liver disease and dementia and those kind of things. So caffeine has had, we haven't quite figured this out yet, but it's definitely documented that people who drink coffee have a lower prevalence of liver cancer and liver disease.
Well, I think this is a good segment. I think it'll ease some people's concerns who are drinking coffee all day long, like to stay up for work. You sound like a caffeine advocate now.
So much.
Okay, you just
in moderation, yeah.
Ease our fears.
Right.
All right, Dr. Stevens, thanks for being with us. Remember, Peyton, if you're drunk, you're drunk.